Directed by Ananda Gandhi, Sheep of Theseus is a combination of three different interrelated stories. The shots are unstable at points and captured in mostly daylight. The photography visualizes something a common eye see in real life. It also doesn't imply background scores. Making a film with no background music is not rare, and this technique works well. It does feel like real, even though if at some points the performers are not up to mark like this.
In fact, my learned friend is not accurately instructed. We have recently installed air conditioning and 10 by 10 cages for these.
It doesn't highly matter because the technique of shooting is so sincere that tiny flaws doesn't catch the eye. The color grading relies more on the color white here. Pretty much in every scene, one character wears white cloth and that scene is brighter. The technical aspect is praisable. The photography is so beautiful and so is the sound design, and everything is so perfectly natural about the shots that I have no complaints about them. There go the techniques. Coming to its stories, the first two are written mostly in English and the last one in Hindi. The first story was about a blind young woman who was a photographer, a quite rare talent, one must agree. She used to capture images with the visionary of her mind, and she was good at that. Everything goes so well as the film moves through her life, her way of realizing her images, capturing the emotions, and often getting into fights.
You're throwing away a brilliant piece of your art just because of a stupid hang-up?
Fine. I don't like it, that's why I'm dumping it. Is that fair enough for you?
When she went through an operation and got her vision back, her life was incomplete. She did not like her pictures anymore. She started finding them unearthly or rather boring comparing to the previous ones. She gets into a long fight with her boyfriend for trying to delete them, and it's where the story clears that she doesn't like her new pictures. That is unexpected for the viewer, for her surroundings, and mostly for her. Getting back the sight, she must have been a better photographer, but she didn't. That was the actual story, and it had a good ending as she went far from home for solitude and ended up sitting over a lake, quite fine. And again, the visuals and the sound editing here is so good. It supports its story, it covers its flaws. Moving on to the next story, we see someone is laying over the ground with a bare body and a white dhoti. It's dark because it's night. As he gets up and gets out in the deep night, we already realize he is sadhu. The conflict of this character is his rationalist mind. He is against the cruelty of other living beings, even though there are so many people who are, but he is different. He is aware of the insects that gets butchered for being made as medicines. He even files a complaint in court. He woke up in the middle of the night to walk all over to the court. That took him long. Either he loves to walk or he is against vehicles as well because of pollution, as he is an amazingly unique character, I must say, and he trusts himself and is quite confident. I have to say this performance from Neeraj Kabi is one of the best in the last 10 years. The case doesn't run much, but he gets a follower from the court, a young lawyer who becomes interested in his views and starts following him to know more about him. I would do the same. So far so good. We see that this Sadhu is respectable man, behaves very gently with everyone, is open-minded and calls himself an atheist. As with the previous one, the story comes to its turning point when he gets sick of some skin disease, and the only way to cure this is to get medicines that he opposed previously. He refuses treatment, and as expected, he starts being sicker and sicker, and that his old fellow wants him to believe that his health issues matter because people love him.
There are a lot of people who love you, respect you and need you, including myself. I know you're a rational, open-minded person, so I can only suggest, please take care of yourself.
I will.
He says that if an insect gets killed, he may come happier in the next life.
If you kill an animal, it's probably going to come back, perhaps happier.
The Sadhu doesn't directly answer that question, but talks about freedom of choice and the right of consent as the core of a worldview. That means that the world centers on the individual decisions of a human being. He replies on the killing by consent, as it already was happening. The animals were getting killed with permissions.
What about killing by consent?
But the reply comes as there is no one to judge to give permissions. He goes away obviously irritated, and the Sadhu becomes much sicker, and a point comes while he can't even get himself up from the bed. And then again his fellow comes, and guess what? He brings alphabets.
I got you a gift. Wait, I'll show you. Alphabets.
He talks about spirituality, and then he comes to the fact about fungus and ants. The conversation here was quite tough to understand in the matter of vocabulary, but I have to say that more easily. His main object to prove his point was that humans are just like other animals who have to use the life of other animals to live to themselves. He uses the example of ant and fungus. An ant goes inside a fungus for the smell that the fungus provides only to attract ants. The fungus later kills the ant and use it for its own growth.
The fungus enters an ant's body through its respiration, invades its brain and changes how it perceives smell, because ants do everything they do from the smell of pheromones, right? So this microscopic little fungal spore then makes the ant climb up the stem of a plant and bite hard on a leaf with an abnormal force. The fungus then kills the ant and continues to grow.
The dialogue changes his thinking a little bit, and when he gets a little sicker, he agrees to the treatment. Finally, coming to the third story, it's about a grown man who replaces his kidney. The few characters of this story are himself, his friend, and his grandmother, who admits to the hospital after breaking her leg. The story is so much about his grandmother as well and his ideas. She wants her grandson to be an eminent man and wants him to do something for the people, but he is Western minded and loves money, and I can relate. This story's turning point was when a poor man came to him, helplessly screaming and begging him to return his kidney that he had no idea. He comes to the point of realization about his operation and feels very bad for that person and hopes on a journey to know what exactly happened. Through investigations, he finds out the person who did this illegal supply of the kidney. He tries so hard and takes quite a lot of risks to make this person pay for what he did by returning his kidney. Though the man finally could not pass the kidney but made compensation. Even though our protagonist doesn't appreciate the amends, the poor man is happy because it is a lot of money.
सवेरे गोरा आकर 6.5 लाख रुपए दे करके गया है।
तुम वो पैसे मत लेना शंकर।
क्यों? वो पैसे तो ले लिया हमने।
नहीं शंकर, तुम वो पैसे लौटा दो, तुम्हें तुम्हारी किडनी वापस मिलनी चाहिए, हम लड़ेंगे।
अरे पागल हो गए हो क्या? किडनी का क्या करूंगा मैं?
Even after a lot of advice, he fails to convince the poor old man and gives up. He returns to his grandmother so faded up and tells her he could do nothing, nothing happened. She replied that whatever happened was enough because he did something.
जितना कुछ हुआ क्योंकि तुमने कुछ किया।
Now this story ends too, and through this tale the stories came to a meeting. We see that this guy is requested to visit somewhere to see video footage shot by the man who donated his body part after dying. This guy got his kidney, and the sadhu from the previous story got his skin, and the blind omen from the past story got eyes, and many other people got his rest of the organs. They finally meet up at one point and see the video, and all of their eyes gets filled with tears, and it's where the film ends. This whole matter is so fascinating, as we can see all the people sitting in the room has some part of the same man. The film had a question at the start which was, if a sheep is broken and remade with different parts, does that remain the same sheep? The film has no answer for that at the end, but inside the film itself. Instead of emphasizing the question, I must say it differently. The film's purpose was to tell the well-known statement of spirituality. All are one and one is all. The universe lies inside one human being. The universe exists because of human existence. There would be no other species to think about it, and hence it would not exist at all. So at the core, the question doesn't matter. Comparing to the sheep of Theseus, the other parts of the sheep got remade of were likely already its part, meaning that if the old portions were of woods, then the new replace are of woods too. The first story kind of disapproves my point, as the blind woman was worse after changing her eyes, but in the end it clears all the relativity. But if justified from the philosophical state at the end, we all are just the same. We are only another because we are in other places, in various surroundings, and with different parents. So it can even be said we are just souls trapped in our bodies. Consequently, even if our organs get changed with a better one, but the soul, or rather in a scientific term, our thinking remains the same, and we endure the same person. Hey there, hope you liked the video. Check out some other stuff from this channel. If you like them, try to hook onto the channel by subscribing. Till then, take care and thanks for watching.